Again, we'll see that it's sucked in. Unwind. Let's see again, go in reverse to the flow. This same principle was used by Viktor for experimental flying discs, which were successfully flown during his research in World War II. In the implosion motor, a diamagnetic field was developed which made the lifting power possible. On the 19th of February, 1945, near Prague, the first test of an unmanned flying disc took place. In 3 minutes it climbed to a height of 15,000 meters and attained a horizontal speed of 2,200 kilometers per hour. It could hover motionless in the air and could fly as fast backwards as forwards. This flying disc had a diameter of 50 meters. Another model based on Viktor's prototype was built by a German engineer, Hermann Klaas, in 1941, who reported, "In all truth, this invention flew with almost unbelievable success. It climbed straight up into the air so suddenly that unfortunately it hit the workshop ceiling and crashed to the ground in pieces." In 1934, Hitler had specially requested to meet Viktor and was well informed of his earlier work. Later, during the war, he was given the choice either to develop machines for the Third Reich or he would be hanged. Understandably, he chose the work, and during this time, the Flying Saucer project was initiated. During this period, consideration was also given to biological submarine design. Viktor was against using biotechnology for destructive purposes and probably never released his full designs to the Nazis. However, this may have given rise to the rumors later on that Hitler had escaped to South America in a flying saucer or submarine, that his death in the Berlin bunker was a fabrication. Whatever the truth, both the Russians and the Americans were highly interested in Viktor's work. After the war, the Russians ransacked his apartment and then blew it up to prevent the Allies from gleaning any overlooked secrets. He was confined by the Americans in what was called protective custody for almost a year and was forbidden to take up any further research into the atomic energy fields. He had warned about the danger of nuclear power and called the splitting of the atom an offense against nature. With few resources left to him, Viktor concentrated on agricultural problems. His work was devoted to increasing the Earth's vitality and to encourage the buildup and preservation of the insulating skin of the Earth. He condemned all kinds of artificial fertilizer, which exhausts the soil and upsets the delicate balance of nature. Viktor had never turned his back on the ancient farming traditions. Rather, he enjoyed the company of old farmers and a simple country life. He had said, "The old farmer was, for the clod of the earth, both its priest and doctor." In Schauberger's writings, he relates one ancient practice that had survived up to his time, and that was called the practice of clay singing. When Schauberger first heard about this, he went over to visit an old farmer, and he heard the farmers singing, and he thought the farmer had gone mad. He went and checked it out, and he saw him stirring just clear water in a barrel. Get it stirred get a vortex going in one direction, then reverse it the other way. And he would throw like little handfuls of loamy soil in every now and then. And on the counterclockwise stir, he would sing upscale from very deep bass up to high falsetto, and then reverse that on the clockwise, going downscale. And then this water was taken and sprayed with like a broom, like this, and it would be sprayed around on the land and allowed to dry. And this would leave like a very fine crystalline structure which would help charge up the land organically. This spade was based on Viktor Schauberger's agricultural theories. It's a solid oak spade coated with copper. Now, Viktor noticed that with the decline of the ancient agricultural methods, like the use of the wooden plow, that there came a concomitant decrease in the fertility of the soil. The soil would dry out and not sustain life. Now, Viktor discovered that this was due to the iron plows that were coming into use, cutting the magnetic lines of the earth, and the earth would lose its charge, the water levels would drop. It was just generally detrimental to the plants. And Viktor felt this was a serious problem that had to be looked into. And in his researches, he discovered that copper, when used on farming implements, greatly increased the fertility of the soil and allowed it to remain rich and moist and supportive of life. This patent for Viktor's copper plow was granted in 1950. Many of these golden plows, as they became known, were manufactured, but pressure from the fertilizer industry halted their production.